parter feels like a rare. I don't know. Like that's just so epic in comparison to what other TV shows do. I think like this era of '90s cartoons sort of uh, probably not pioneered it, but I remember happened a lot with a lot of these shows. Like I mean, Spider-Man had like 7-part episodes, I think sometimes.
Spider-Man would go like 14, 16 part episodes and have them
Right?
like have completely disconnected stuff within its multi-part episodes. It was a
Yeah,
it's a weird outlier. Like I don't think its approach to multi-part episodes makes a whole lot of sense because they're just trying to time together like the themes of a season, so the whole season will be
yeah,
one multi-part. That's
that's true.
weird. Um, at one point, Star Trek Deep Space Nine has like an 8-part episode at the very end, but it's more just like they shift from being an episodic TV show to being a sequential soap opera, essentially. Like the last 10 episodes are pretty much one story all the way through, but it's just like that's how all modern, like I would say the most modern TV shows are like 8 or 10 parters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think maybe this show is like starting to react to anime series a little bit because like those go on for like the whole thing is sequential.
That makes sense.
And I kind
Yeah.
of felt like some of the transformations, like the Phoenix transformation stuff, kind of reminded me like Sailor Moon. Just the way they're like floating up in the sky and changing color and all that kind of
A
stuff.
bit, but this is all based on art from like 1976 and 77. Like there's many images in this Phoenix Saga are recreating panels from the original Byrne and Claremont run. And so like all of the images of Jean Grey powering up and everything are panel homages. So I bet Sailor Moon is more likely influenced by Jean Grey than the other way around. Um Also, this is adapting like this was kind of it's kind of nebulous because there's another story that kind of dovetailed into it. The original comic book version of the story of them being in space actually took up like 4 issues. They spend a lot of time on the space station. They run into like robots of the original X-Men team and have a fight with them. They're like sentinels that are programmed because this was like this story kind of begins and centers around issue 100 of the original X-Men, and they kind of like to explain how we got to that point with the X-Men comic book. Like it ran for about 50, 60 issues or so during the 60s, but it was kind of the black sheep of the original 60s Marvel run of like Spider-Man, Avengers, Hulk, Thor, Iron Man. Like those all sold way better than X-Men did, and they kind of gave up on it in the late 60s, and they brought it back in the early 70s just reprinting some of the episodes, just kind of like just cycling the stuff out again and trying to make some money off of things they'd already made because they weren't doing very well in the early 70s. And those started to sell well, so they said, "Hey, let's bring back the X-Men. Let's take this really popular Wolverine character that we've debuted over in the Hulk and put him in this new team." And they had this giant size X-Men annual with some famous images where Xavier recruits a new team to go to this mutant island and save the original team. But a bunch of the original team decide, okay, I think that's the end for me. I think I'm done. Like Beast, Angel, and Iceman, they all leave the team at that point, along with Polaris and Havoc, who have since joined, and that's like Magneto's third daughter and Cyclops' brother. But that's ancillary. But so when the comic starts going again, the numbers are up to like 92, 93, something like that. So we actually hit issue 100 like less than a year after they've relaunched the series. So they're kind of trying to like draw attention to the fact that we have this new X-Men by having them appear to fight the original X-Men, but it was just robots. That's how we get out in space. And then when we wind up in the first issue of the Phoenix Saga, trying to get back down, that's us returning from that adventure. It's nothing like in Dark Phoenix where the X-Men are like celebrated public heroes and get asked to go into space to save astronauts. That's some
Yeah,
Superman 4 Quest for Peace level
that was
dumbassery.
so weird. I
I
do
just
remember
I
that.
did I just want to get on record as saying is I despise both of Simon Kinberg's Phoenix movies. It's absolutely insane that the same man was trusted with the Phoenix story twice and blew it in 2 completely different ways. It's incredible how bad they mess it up. Like they leave all the space opera out both times. Mind blowing.
You got to have the space opera.
Totally. And like what's
Yes.
crazy to me is like I've said a few times on this podcast so far and been wrong, so I'm gonna own it here. But like none of this was inspired by Star Wars. the main Shi'ar crazy space stuff was hitting like right before and around the release of the Star Wars movies. So like Claremont and George Lucas were just on the same idea bent of like telling big, huge galactic spanning stories with mystical powers and energies. It was just like 1977 was when it was going to happen.
Neat.
It's very neat. Yeah, these are very like
Yeah,
I was there.
so this was like a 10-part comic book story. So they were adapted so to make it only happen in 5 issues, like they had to scrunch a bunch of stuff out. They actually like we talked about the Soul Drinker, and the Soul Drinker was actually something from the like near the last act of the Phoenix Saga when they actually wind up supposed to go to Shi'ar space and wind up on this weird planet, and the Soul Drinker is there, and they have to fight and escape from the Soul Drinker. So it's like an idea that they had to cut out of the Phoenix Saga that they were able to bring back into Out of the Past, intentional or not. I'm not sure. There's something that happens that we'll probably need to debate. I'm not sure if my
Oh,
theory of Out of the Past being sorry, what?
I was going to ask if like like this is a pretty big departure from what we've seen from the show so far. Was this as big of a departure in the comics? Like, did all this space opera stuff come out of nowhere, or is that kind of like an X-Men thing already at that point?
No, it's kind of the beginning of the space opera phase of Marvel Comics. Like they were beginning to Guardians of the Galaxy had been launched around this time. I think they were doing a lot of cosmic stuff. Jim Starlin was writing the original Thanos stories and the big Silver Surfer run. So I think cosmic was doing well for Marvel. So I think that might be what was drawing the X-Men out there. Like they have this big adventure in space, come back to Earth, Jean becomes the Phoenix. Then they wind up going back out into space to deal with things because of the Shi'ar Empire.
Hmm.
Um, the, I don't think it was a big departure. It was actually like it was so early in the X-Men run that like the first date between Cyclops and Jean actually happens at the beginning of this story in the comic books. They were
Really?
always like they had a thing for each other, but it was like a crush that they weren't acting on in the original 60s run. And they actually started dating at the beginning of the story that takes them into space in the first place. This is also the first story where Storm shows that she is claustrophobic. This is the first story where Logan shows that he has feelings for Jean. Like this is all hyper formative early era
Yeah.
stuff. It
Yeah.
actually
No
is
kidding.
kind of crazy that it takes the movies and the comics so long to get to it, because really the Phoenix Saga is the first great story of the X-Men, I
Well, I
think.
mean, and arguably they still haven't really gotten to it. I mean, the cartoons have like the movies for having been adapted twice, they still pretty much have left all this on the table still
Oh, there's a
for
big, huge trilogy waiting for it, and I think it's like that's the one reason that I'll never agree that like comic book movies are done and people are done on superheroes because we still haven't seen, I think, the most cinematic and like this on cinema screens will be, I think, the coolest movie that they could do. It works because there's emotional stuff that ties it in, and we'll get into that on a level that some of the other stories kind of don't because the scale gets too big. But there's like a lot of stuff going on in the story to kind of keep you emotionally connected to the scale, which I really appreciated about it, especially this time watching through.
oh yeah. So let's get into the episodes maybe a little bit. Before we do that, let's talk about what was happening when the episodes came out.
Yeah, we're going to get into the time machine and go to September 5, 1994, which was Labor Day. These episodes kind of rolled out differently. Normally, we're a Saturday morning cartoon, but for these episodes, they actually aired every afternoon Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of like the first week of school, essentially, for kids in Canada and northern United States. Um, and it was awesome to like every day things were
Wow.
like just to be able to just follow the story on a daily basis. Like everybody was talking about it at school. I remember it was just like the most exciting thing going on. Um, yeah, it was a really cool run up, and they actually wind up like they actually put out a different story, like the Savage Land story that happens between the two Phoenix sagas. It started on the Saturday, so there's actually 6 days of X-Men cartoons in a row. It's
That's
like the
crazy.
really the peak of the popularity and the releases and the excitement level around the show is this one week. At this point, Forrest Gump is the number one movie in theaters. Number two is Natural Born Killers. The Mask is still hovering out there in clear present danger. We got True
Mhm.
Lies and Lion King in theaters. Like it's a big time at the movies. A big time in culture, really. Like, I mean, 1984 was such a big peak time. Like even in BC, that's when the Canucks got, I think, the closest to winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
still remember
that's
breaking part of the our couch when I was watching the game. Like pulled up a piece of wood off of the couch because I was so frustrated that we missed a goal opportunity on a breakaway. That game sits with me.
And
I'll never
then
forget
were you part of the riots that happened in like the 2000s too? Like were you still on your destroying couches or were you destroying street
it.
signs?
I actually took my camera down thinking there would be a riot, and I thought it'd be cool to film some of it. And then I realized that, oh, there is going to be a riot. And if I film anything, the cops might try and confiscate my camera and use the data on my camera to arrest people. So I thought, okay, I don't want to actually do that. And lo and behold, that's actually what happened. If you had a camera, the cops confiscated it and used it to put people in jail. So I'm glad that I avoided that. I went to a beach and I smoked a joint and I just kind of like watched the riot from above. My friend Matt Saunders had an apartment building where we could see into the streets. So I was right there, but I didn't want to be a narc.
Very legitimate. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Also, this was the first week of the 15-week run of I'll Make Love to You by Boys to Men. Boys to Men so dominated the fall of 1994 that the song to knock them off of the number one in December is another Boys to Men song.
Oh man.
Yeah, like that so rarely happens, but yeah, Boys to Men, all for one. It's really interesting that this year has these hugely successful black kind of R&B boy bands, and these will be completely replaced in pop culture within a year by Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. And I wonder, like, do the people think, oh man, white versions of these bands would just fucking crush? And the
And then Korean versions of those bands today, like K-pop is
Korean
just
versions are,
R&B.
I think, like Blackpink is what Spice Girls always wanted to be, but never had the like earnestness about it, right? Like these girls all grew up wanting to be that, so it's a little bit more organic.
Yeah, I
Well, I
mean
mean,
it's a machine though. That industry in Korea, it's scary.
yeah. Have
Oh,
you ever
I think the
seen?
music industry in general is fucking crazy and nuts.
There's
At least these people are successful enough that they are able to have solo careers where they control their own art form.
there's a very I wouldn't say it's interesting. I guess maybe there's a reality show about like the making of a K-pop. Like it's like sort of a reality show where you're auditioning and it's like a elimination thing, blah blah blah. But you get to see like the process that goes into joining a K-pop band or maybe I think
You
it's
gotta
K-pop
sign your
anyway.
human rights away, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's insane. Like the facilities that they have and like just the expectations are wild.
I mean, I definitely think that those industries are toxic, and I would be one of those. If I was a parent, I would be trying to make sure my kid does not go into it
Hmm.
for sure. It's messed up, but some people just have that, you know, that passion, that vision. I don't think anybody was gonna be able to tell La Lisa to not do it. Yeah. Okay. So, why don't we hop right into episode one because we got 3 episodes to cover today.
Yeah. All right. So this is the Phoenix Saga Part One. It's called Sacrifice. It starts with Professor X being shaken awake. He's having these vivid visions of a battle in deep space. He's troubled. He summons his X-Men and everyone except for Rogue, who is away on a mission. I don't really know if that did they just want to not have her on the table for that? Like,
It
is she
wouldn't
just
make
not?
sense. The whole thing wouldn't happen if Rogue was the main character
That's true.
because
Yeah.
she would do what Jean does, and I think she would also absorb the Phoenix and it would burn her to a crisp. I think that her mutant powers just don't work with the Phoenix, so they needed to keep her away. Rogue, the character, wasn't in the X-Men team when this story happened yet. So she really wasn't conceived of, and she does not fit into it, and they had to write her out. They never say
So,
what her mission is, but they just had to write her out.
so Professor Xavier, based on this dream that he has or a vision, he orders them to acquire a space shuttle, which they seem to manage to do pretty quickly. and they reach a space station that's orbiting nearby where Peter Corbeau is under alien threat. Is a character we haven't really met before, I don't think, and he's really only in the first couple episodes here, right?
Yeah, like Dr. Corbeau was a big part of this whole storyline leading up to it. He was involved with his space station. He's a friend of Dr. McCoy's. Um, yeah, he was he's in like 6 or 7 issues of the original comic book run, but
Okay.
yeah, his role gets reduced to just being the guy in this spot. But they keep saying Dr. Corbeau a whole lot.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was. I mean, it moves really quickly to get them in space and all that. Obviously, when you're trying to do this, you kind of do what you have to do. The pacing was pretty quick here early on, I thought.
Yeah, things are moving really, really quickly because they're just kind of like they need to get us up to that fireworks factory, right?
That's right, exactly. Yeah, they got a lot of story to tell. At the launch site, the team infiltrates the facility. Jubilee does have to stay behind while the others commandeer the shuttle so that they catch somebody infiltrating it. So someone has to take the blame.
That's a good use of her.
As they attempt to board the station, knockout gas floods the airlock, and Eric the Red reveals that he has taken control. So this is a new character we haven't met before. I assume he's maybe a big deal. This is when I realized what episodes these were. Like, not that I didn't remember them, but I think we all know like
Yeah, he's a distinct image we associate with the
yeah,
Phoenix Saga. Now,
yeah,
the reveal in the comic books would have fucked people up because the first time that the Eric the Red persona actually showed up, they were being used as an alias by Cyclops. And they
really.
kind of thought like, oh, this design is so cool, we should like actually have a character that is Eric the Red going forward. So this Shi'ar guy kind of, I guess, copies this image that he saw Cyclops use because the Shi'ar guys are monitoring the mutants. I don't know. It's a bit of a flimsy explanation as to why this Shi'ar alien guy has the same costume that Cyclops first had, but it
Right.
first shows up. I remember reading a comic book in the late 90s where Eric the Red showed up and actually like leads the trial of Gambit where he exposes that Gambit betrayed the Morlocks to Mr. Sinister. And that Eric the Red turns out to be the real Magneto who's been disappeared for years. So Eric the Red is usually an alias used by somebody else.
Interesting.
Um,
He's like the Red Mask of not the Red Hood from DC, where a lot of different characters have used it. I feel like
Totally, totally. But
yeah,
because of the cartoon being the main time he's used, we mostly think of him as a single character.
and he really sets the bar for like the Shi'ar dress code, I guess. Like everyone is wearing really outrageous
Bondage
outfits, and
gear.
his is like yeah, exactly.
He looks
His
like
is
Sean Connery and fucking Zardoz.
yeah, exactly.
A little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. A little too much exposed skin for no reason. But
yeah.
I also want to point out though, I just really appreciate the meeting that the X-Men have in their meeting in their Cerebro room. Like they're all wearing like night gear, like night
Right.
clothes, etc. They're all chill. Gambit had been out like trying to get some pussy, I guess, so he's dressed very, very well. I really like that. Those little details.
Yeah,
There's lots of nice little details. I feel like these 5 episodes have a bigger budget than most of the season. Even though
yeah,
the Shi'ar web, even though the Shi'ar ships kind of look shitty. Like there's the cool ones. There's like the two kind of boomerangs intersecting the green ones. Those look cool. But there's
yeah,
like the kind of bug looking ones that Lalandra's people use.
yeah. The bug aesthetic
Those
wasn't
just look like
great.
bugs. I don't love it. I don't love it.
Yeah, I never really like a bug ship. That's not my thing. And or like bug spacesuit was kind of looked like a background character from Star Wars. Looks like someone from the cantina or something.
Yeah, I'm not a huge design of the space helmets that they have
Yeah.
for sure. But
All right.
lots of cool stuff to design in a hurry. So can't
Oh,
really.
geez, yeah. I mean, the new stuff that we're seeing here per minute is wild compared to like any other part of the show. So I get it. Yeah. Um. So Eric reports to Emperor Decan that he has secured both Corbeau and the X-Men. He tries to send them out into space by opening the airlock, but Jean saves them using her telekinesis. Eric explains the station has been tracking a wormhole that Lalandra Naramani will use to flee the Shi'ar.
Oh
There's
yeah,
a
because Dr.
whole
Corbeau is like he is taking a shuttle up into space to investigate the wormhole and the weird readings, like solar energy readings around this wormhole.
right.
And the wormhole is like the wormhole is never really fully explained.
Yeah, no, I
It's
feel
kind
like
of
the
like
wormhole.
a nice magic convenience that it connects the Earth to this other galaxy, right? Like they say a few times, the Nebula, this isn't just somewhere else in the galaxy, it's another fucking galaxy,
Yeah, it's very
real
far
far
away.
away. We
This
can't
is
even conceive of how to travel there with the longest technology we can possibly have, because you'd have to regenerate energy in the long distance between, and there's no source of energy between galaxies.
and Deep Space Nine came up earlier, and that is also how they travel to the gamma quadrant of the galaxy. I think
Yeah,
is
which
through
is
a
literally
wormhole.
just like the opposite side of the galaxy from where we are. But that, even with Star Trek's greatest technology, is like predicted to take them 70 or 80 years or something. I think it winds up taking them 10 years in the story canon because it's even though the show ran for 7 years, it's a 10-year story. Um, and that's because of like numerous magic alien beings that just jump them ahead big points at various. Yeah, it's just a little silly.
I think that's where Odo's people come from, the shape shifting people.
They come from a different quadrant. They come from the
No.
gamma quadrant.
Oh,
Like
that's what I was saying, but maybe the
the
wormhole
gamma and
goes
the delta
elsewhere.
quadrant are two different ones from two different shows. And like the gamma quadrant area where the changelings are in Star Trek is as far away from where they go in Voyager as it is from where we are. Like there's kind of like a triangle of the galaxy. And the 3 points of it are where Earth is, where the Voyager goes, and where they're traveling in Deep Space Nine.
Neat.
Yeah. Once you get really into Star Trek, the geography it is interesting because it does make sense. Like there's things like the Romulans and the Klingon are between us and where the Borg come from, so it makes a lot of sense that the Borg always attack the Romulans first, etc. And the
Hmm.
Borg are able to travel through the center of the galaxy through parts that we're not able to travel through because they don't need to survive in the way that we do.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the center of our galaxy is like uninhabitable, right? Like the where it's close and where stars are close enough to each other that planets could reasonably, be traveling star systems and interacting. There's so much other crazy cosmic shit happening that life can't evolve,
Hmm.
can't survive. There's just major events happening too frequently for life to ever get to a complex point.
Makes sense.
Yeah, a little depressing, but the universe is a cold and indifferent place.
Absolutely.
You can't see the finger quotes I'm doing, so it's useless.
They were supposed to be space debris, forcing Eric to unleash the mind-controlled station crew. Lalandra's ship bursts from the wormhole, and Eric fires the station's laser at her, but misses. In the chaos, the X-Men accidentally damage the station, triggering its destruction.
You guys.
You guys, you stupid X-Men. You came to help, and you just ruined everything.
Yeah,
More
everything was
like
blowing up
Rex
before.
men, because they wrecked the place,
It's really clever.
WRE, yeah.
No, yeah, if the audience understands.
Yeah.
So the team does successfully manage to rescue Corbeau. The crew flees in the shuttle, but they're on a collision course with Lalandra's energy contrail, a wave of lethal radiation. Beast suggests hiding in the shuttle's solar probe for protection, but someone must stay behind to pilot manually. So this is where you're talking. Like this is where Rogue would have come in handy, I guess, right? But Jean does like pull a Rogue here, like literally does her power, but she just like invents a new power for herself to download someone else's memories as like abilities that she'll have now.
I think it
And
makes sense. She's
it
been
does
like
make
honing
sense.
her
Oh,
telepathic powers, and I think
100%.
telepaths can do that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
But yeah, you're right. She's using her powers to be like Rogue, which kind of
exactly.
emphasizes the importance of Rogue not being here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they have like kind of a touching moment here where Cyclops kind of says he'll do it, but Jean telepathically absorb. Sorry, what's going on here? Sorry, got mixed up there. So Cyclops volunteers to go.
You mixed yourself up, bro. You've just
Yeah, I did
already
mix
read this
myself. I caught
sentence.
up ahead. So
It is a
after
nice moment. That's like panel for panel from the comic books with Jean
is
saying,
it?
"Oh, I love you," and then knocking him out so that she can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Logan wasn't gonna. He approaches her, but he's not there to like try to talk her out of it. He just says good luck,
Which
and
I
he
really
isn't.
like. Like Cyclops in
Yeah,
this moment makes it about himself. He's like, "What's going to happen to me?"
yeah,
Whereas Logan just like accepts that she is going to make a sacrifice and supports her. And I think that's part of why people like Wolverine unconsciously is that like he's just doing a lot of the things that allow her to be herself, whereas Cyclops is often trying to control her. It's just shitty, and it just exposes that it's kind of like unconsciously a shitty person.
yeah. Yeah, no, I was not. I guess I was surprised that Logan had like the better take here, and it was nice to see him like say like, "Yeah, that's your choice to make," and just hope it goes well.
I'm a feminist, Bob.
He really is in an
Gene,
interesting
yeah,
way, and I think that people were reacting to it. I think like women really liked Wolverine because of the way he would give women space to do their thing and kick ass if they had to. And Cyclops really doesn't serve to do that. You know, I think he'll become that in X-Men '97 because he's much better written in X-Men '97. But here he's just kind of a noodle.
Mhm. So she takes the controls and she starts guiding the shuttle through the deadly radiation as this blazing cosmic force engulfs her and chooses her as its host. It's the Phoenix is here.
Yeah, we hear like the Phoenix Firebird noise,
Caw!
and then to be continued. Like the episode just snaps by.
Oh yeah, it's really
It is
really dense.
all action and stuff happening.
Yeah.
It is dense and not too deep, but it does kind of set some things thematically down through like especially how people feel about Jean and how Jean feels about them is really clearly established. And Jean is the hero of
Mhm.
this, which I really like that because it's actually she's been building up to this point. It kind of felt like it came out of nowhere in the past, but now that I'm really been analyzing the show, like she really does build herself up to a point of being the leader and then becomes the most powerful.
Yeah. No, I
It's
agree.
a
Like
decent arc.
she's kind of like benched a lot in the first year, and now she's like been getting out more and more and having her own agency and all that. So it did feel earned here, I guess.
Yeah, like I give it a 7. It's not the great episode or anything, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's tough to grade on its own as an episode because it is such a it's really just chapter one of
Yeah,
a
but each
whole
chapter of
story.
this feels pretty distinct to me.
You're right. You're right. But yeah, I'd say it's about a 7 as well.
Just give it a shade off of a 7, maybe like a 7.1.
You hungover bastard. Put one over on us. Yeah,
All right.
Jean's powers are stronger than they've ever been in this episode, but I think it's all
Yeah.
organic and
Yeah.
earned.
I like her new use of her telepathic abilities to download skills. So I'll
Yeah,
say
like
that's probably my
she had to step up and use Cerebral a lot more and fill the void when Xavier left, and we're kind of
yeah.
seeing the result of that. I like it. It's good.
Hell yeah. This brings us to episode 2, the Phoenix Saga Part 2, the Dark Shroud.
Jean Grey, dying from radiation exposure as she's piloting the shuttle, is saved when the Phoenix Force manifests itself inside the cockpit. Guided by its power, she lands the shuttle in the East River, actually in Jamaica Bay. Uh,
She
as
also
it's
clips the Empire State Building and I think flies between the World Trade Center buildings.
Ooh, I didn't catch that.
it's spicy.
That's
It's a spicy crash. Yeah. As it sinks, Wolverine cuts away out of the like chamber thing that they're staying in, and the team surfaces in time to see Jean rise from the water in a fiery new form, declaring, "I am the Phoenix!" before collapsing into a coma. And she's got this like crazy hella extra anti-green uniform leotard thing with big yellow boots and gloves and
Mhm.
head details and stuff. It's a really iconic costume. Probably probably her most appreciated look. You know how much you hate her regular look.
Yes, it's terrible. So this
I
is
mean, the
nice.
flesh-colored tone is literally exclusive
Yeah.
to the cartoon. In the comic books, she's supposed to be very bright yellow, and
Really?
the cartoon just kind of blew it and stuck with that look.
I think they kind of adjusted it to like a copper kind of color in X-Men 97, right?
Yeah, she looks much better in X-Men '97, and
Yeah.
even the last season of this, they correct her color. They do draw her properly in the final season of the regular show. The problem is that it's that Philippine animation studio by that point, so it's not that good. And also, I hate to say it, but there's actually more Philippine animation studio coming up than I was initially prepared for. I guess they use that company more often than I thought.
Wow.
Yeah, it really is too bad. The cool Iceman X Factor episode, that's also the Philippine animation studio. There's some episodes where I can't even tell which one it is because they're trying hard. But like, yeah, there's going to be a bunch of the Philippine animation studio in season 3. I'm sorry, guys. It's just what it is.
Well, it's what it is. I don't know
It'd
why
be cool
you
if
decided to do that.
if the character voices were also Filipino actors, just with no explanation.
Yeah, it's just suddenly everyone's got totally different accents.
Wonder what that would sound like.
I think it would go no.
Yep,
Something
yep,
like
let's
this.
not. Oh gosh, you're gonna get me to cancel you.
I have been practicing my Tagalog. One sec.
Yeah, so at the hospital, Jean awakens with no memory of the Phoenix or what happened. Beast, sporting a Howard the Duck shirt, interrupts a heated argument between Cyclops and Professor X. Distraught, Xavier later boards a jet back to the mansion, only to be struck by a mysterious psychic blast that forces his darker self into astral form. This next part's crazy.
This
Like,
part is
I looked,
absolutely
I
insane.
can't find what this is a reference to. It's not, I don't think it's part of the original Phoenix Saga. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please. But I think this might have been just an idea that the producers had that it's like, oh, let's set the seeds for Xavier having a dark half. Because Xavier's dark half coming out to play is like a really important thing in the late 90s comics. And it's where they want to take X-Men 97, I think. So it's really cool that this is happening now. Not gonna lie, I used to fucking hate this episode. Like when it aired originally, I was just like, what is this episode? Why are we dealing with this? But now as a grown up, I'm just like, oh, this is super interesting. We're getting into the psychology of everything. He knows everyone's weaknesses,
Yeah.
right? We see this astral Xavier hunt Wolverine down in the subway, and he's twisting his senses around, and the whole subway becomes all like dark lit, kind of like in Predator 2.
Yeah.
And all these phantom enemies are attacking him, like Sabretooth attacks him, Lady Deathstrike. And he mentions Yuriko at this point, so I think maybe they did have the whole out of the passing plan. And my whole theory that it's being inserted into the story doesn't make sense. I don't know. But should we see her here? We also see Deadpool again, which is cool.
Yeah. Very
Like,
cool.
yeah, he's clearly someone that Wolverine encountered in the past and has dealt with. And I just really love to see them bust him out in X-Men 97 because he's clearly part of Wolverine's past in this.
This whole sequence I thought was animated really cool. Like I thought the lighting was super well done. And
really well
That's
designed
really
and
cool.
directed.
yeah.
Yeah, there's this cool spot where he thinks that Jubilee is on train tracks and he has to save her. And he gets stuck. And the tension is kind of real because, like, oh, he could get hit by a train and survive that. So, you know,
That'd be
it's not
pretty
like
gnarly.
a normal situation. He could actually get hit by this train. And it turns out that the Jubilee is a fake. And he survives.
Yeah.
I love how Gene explains this stuff, just saying like, no, he's making you think that you're being hit with, energy or whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's all
it's actually really
psychosomatic.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So nearby, Gambit and Jubilee wait in line. Hold on, I gotta. All right. Nearby, Gambit and Jubilee wait in line at a movie theater when the astral entity attacks them too. Storm arrives, and the three battle the invisible Xavier, realizing they're the only ones who can see him. I really like when they cut to other people's perspectives and they just look like crazy people.
Yeah.
They flee before the police intervene, but Storm does get to use her powers against them a little bit, which is cool. Wolverine calls Jubilee Jew, and I don't think this ever happens again.
I'm pretty sure it was Jube.
Yeah, I think it was
Jube.
Jew, but it's not. It's dicey.
It's close enough that you.
choice.
Yeah.
The kids can call you Hojube.
Okay, so the astral Xavier then targets Jean and Cyclops, who are having a tender moment at the hospital. But Jean detects a deception and strikes him down with a psychic blast because she is super powerful. She knows what's up.
Yeah.
The real Xavier is then found unconscious, and once he's revived, explains that his dark side somehow gained sentience and broke free. And there's this hilarious shot when they're in an alley and all the X-Men are kind of forming like a horseshoe half circle around him, all facing in the alley. And I'm just like, man, anybody could just walk up behind you guys. You're all
Yeah.
dressed like you're superheroes or
Yeah.
crazy people. It's just funny. It's just funny staging. It makes sense that it would happen there, but it's just, I don't know, interesting. I definitely threw it in the intro animation.
Yeah.
His dark side smile too when he's like hovering over the little ship and like staring down at the unconscious Xavier. Very
Oh, yeah.
creepy.
The actor for Xavier does a really fun job, like voicing the evil cackling version of Xavier. He has a great voice for it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, unseen observers record the team and transmit the footage to Eric the Red aboard a ship in orbit. Seeking answers, Xavier travels to Muir Island to meet Moira McTaggart and Sean Cassidy. When he calls out the force that's been haunting his visions, Lalandra Naramani appears. And just like this woman in bondage gear steps out of the
Yeah.
And I remember, like, at the time, I just thought, like, oh, cool alien lady. Now, as an adult, I'm just like, holy shit, she is wearing, like, modern rave gear.
Oh, yeah.
This is, like, a super sexy getup to just show up in front of humans for, like, a princess to be wearing, like, with all the skin showing on her thigh. And it's a wild outfit.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, it really is. It's very like, it's literally like vacuum sealed to her crotch and body, and then she got these big thigh highs on, and boob
Yeah.
windows are everywhere. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but it's like the first boob window I think I ever saw in chronological
That's true.
history. It's
And it has
wild.
like a little spider on her boob window too. Like that's a little
So
interesting.
ravey. It's so like I swear to God, I think I've seen somebody dressed up as Lilandra just without the crazy hair.
I
Um,
wonder if they will attempt to adapt that hair if and when they do
I think it needs to be
a
done,
Shi'ar
but I
thing.
bet that there's a way to do it and make it look sexy for
I
her.
could see them doing it as like a headdress, like making that like something she wears with normal hair underneath, maybe.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
not sure. I think it's really there's a lot you can do with the Shi'ar, and I'm really excited to to see that on screen. I've been so excited ever since the ending of X-Men 2 when we see the Phoenix shadow racing under the waves of Alkali Lake.
yeah.
I've been thinking like, oh my God, we're gonna see the Shi'ar story on big screen, and we have not. We've only seen it.
Nope. Yeah.
They've done it
We were not.
twice. Twice. They left out this whole part. Ugh. Banshee is included in here because at the time of the original comics, Banshee was in the X-Men. Thunderbird died immediately, the Native American guy, and Sunfire left when that happened. But Banshee is still in the X-Men during the Phoenix Saga, so I guess they just really wanted to include him. So they make up this whole thing about him being engaged to Moira McTaggart. I don't know if that ever happened. Um, them having a relationship.
He gets the whole next episode named after him, and I don't even think he's like a very big part of it, is he? Like maybe we can get into that
It's
next one, but
weird.
like
Like I think in a large like I don't really love that they go to Muir Island, and I think that this series could have been stronger if they just go right to space from here.
hmm,
Juggernaut crashes into the room moments after Lilandra reveals herself to Xavier. So instantly we get the beginning of the brother thing that goes on over
mhm.
the next episode, and it's brother versus brother, and it's setting something up, but it doesn't really pay off in the Phoenix Saga. So I'm not sure why they did it, but it is really exciting that we finally get to see Juggernaut confronting Xavier within this story.
Yeah.
Like we first didn't get to see Juggernaut and Xavier meet up. So actually, I bet as a kid it was like really exciting for Juggernaut and Xavier to finally meet in the middle of this story.
They're half brothers.
Yeah.
So they said. Like Juggernaut wasn't born like that, right? Like he was like
No,
he
no,
did
he
some
he
kind
gets
of
this ruby gem that powers him, and we'll actually learn all about that later on in the season. There's another Juggernaut episode that's all tells you all about his origin
Mhm.
sweet.
in a silly way. I'm not a big fan of that episode at all. But I did like this one. I think I would give this one an 8. I was just really impressed this time. Normally I'd think of it as a 7, but it rose in my mind. I just really like the Xavier psychological games stuff.
I'd go a little bit lower. I think I give it like honestly like a 6, and that's mostly on the strength of like the Wolverine scene on the subway. I wasn't quite sure what the reasoning for including this episode in this 5-parter was, I guess. Like I don't, when you're plotting it out, like why why include this little sidetrack, I guess.
It
But
is a little weird, especially because Xavier's not really a part of the final act of this story. He's
no, I
literally
know.
at
It seems
home
it
sitting on
seems like
computer.
a whole yeah, it seems like a whole episode devoted just to taking him off the board for the finale, I guess.
Yeah,
Because
maybe
he
I'll
would
go back down to my initial 7 assessment because it is a bit like, why are we taking this much time before we get to the fireworks factory of the story?
Mhm.
I don't know. I didn't love this one. I think I'd probably give it like a 6.69.
So close to a 6-7.
Don't
Uh-oh.
start.
6-7. I was at a Santa Claus parade last night, and all these little kids were asking Santa to do the 6-7 thing, and he fucking did it. And
Yeah,
the
I mean,
kids
that's what you
loved
got to
it.
do in that
The
situation.
kids loved it. So, they were happy. All right, let's go on to part 3 of this. It's a 5-part thing, so this is only part 3. So we're on Muir Island. Moira and Banshee sort of like replaying this at the end of the last episode. They're having a kiss on the cliffs there, and they see that Xavier's room has been engulfed in flames, and inside, Xavier and Lilandra are struggling against the Juggernaut, who's just kind of swinging them around and beating the shit out of them until they finally manage to get his helmet off by targeting with her little phaser thing, which I don't know why. Something about that phaser gun she had was so satisfying to me. I love the sound effect. I just love the little pew
Kind of like
pew
the
it
noisy
makes.
cricket from the Men in Black movies.
Yes,
The little
I loved
thing is
it.
powerful as hell. Yeah.
I don't know why. I just loved it. And so he uses a psychic blast to get his brother under control for a bit until Black Tom bursts in and strikes him with his wooden cane that shoots energy blasts. I don't know anything about Black Tom. I know he's like a Juggernaut.
You don't need
buddy.
to. Black Tom sucks. He's the worst character. I can't believe they even bothered to include him. It's so dumb. Like he can channel energy through wood or something. It's really fucking dumb.
Yeah, you can.
Same.
Like
Yeah.
he's Banshee's brother, and that's the important thing. And the most important thing that happens in this whole episode that for his inclusion is that they mention that their powers cancel each other out, and family members can cancel each other's mutant powers out, and that is an important thing in the X-Men lore. But it could have been done in a different way. Like literally, something happens later in the season that would have been a better way for them to have that discussion, and it would have made for a more exciting episode.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It also would have been funny if his name was like Chinese Tom or something. Like, like why was he Black Tom? Like,
I don't know. Like Black Tom is in Deadpool 2, and Deadpool says the exact same thing. He was like, "Why are you Black Tom? Why you called yourself that?" And I think the only reason that he's even in that is so that Ryan Reynolds can question why the character is named that, because they make him completely different. He's like a white guy with dreads. He doesn't show mutant powers much at all. Yeah. He's just like the bully in the prison.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was around this point that I realized that this is the episode that like the entire Juggernaut bitch meme was born out of, like the old like original YouTube video meme where they dubbed over this entire episode with like outrageous other dialogue. And
and that was like an early meme because it gets
very early
in X-Men The Last Stand, and they actually have Juggernaut. They have Vinnie Jones's Juggernaut say that line.
That was all like middle of when I was in college, I feel like.
Like 2003, 2004 era stuff.
Yeah, no.
It was a fresh meme when they referenced it.
Very, very fresh. So they declare that they've come to kidnap Lilandra. The villains toss Xavier out of the window, and Banshee swoops in to catch him using his powerful voice that he uses to fly around, which is just an insane power.
Doesn't make any sense that him having a
so crazy
allows him to fly around.
It's crazy.
He has a little cousin named Siren that has the same powers as him too, and it's just like, well, why doesn't she have Black Tom's powers? What's the deal?
It looked insane too, and like when they had him in first class, they did their best to try to justify why it makes sense, but man, it does not. Recovering, Xavier tries to convince Moira and Banshee that Lilandra is real. So they still think he's crazy, having another delusion,
which is nuts. Like, why would
his room's all fucked up? Like,
do they really think a paralyzed guy would throw himself out a window?
and they saw that his room was exactly, but they also saw that his room was on fire and like an explosion. Like, what did they think happened?
Oh, I've never seen him like this. This is terrible.
He's just jealous of us.
Evil entity version again, and like
maybe
like they know about that side of it, right? They know.
I guess so. Meanwhile, back in New York City, Jean erupts in fire within her hospital bed, declaring herself one with the Phoenix. Xavier summons the X-Men to Muir Island, and a reluctant Cyclops leaves her side to join the team. In Ireland, Juggernaut and Black Tom meet with Eric the Red, who pays them for capturing Lilandra. They really make Eric the Red their bitch here. He's really being shown to be like the jobber of the Shi'ar Empire, apparently. Like,
Yeah, Decan's ripping on him. Everyone's
yeah,
negotiating with him and trying to get a better deal, and he's kind of capitulating.
Yeah,
He's
a
falling
bitch.
apart here. Yeah.
So he pays them a bunch of money for capturing Lilandra on Muir Island. The X-Men regroup with Moira and Banshee as Xavier and Lilandra maintain psychic contact. She sends him a vision of the Cassidy family crest, revealing where she's being held.
Are we sure this is Ireland? I'm pretty sure this is Scotland.
Where'd you get that Banshee family crest thing from, Mike?
Where did I get that from? Is that not in the episode?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember a Cassidy family crest.
Yeah, because friggin' Xavier's like, a lion is fighting with a dragon.
Yeah.
I can't explain myself right now. Just trust me on this. And they're like,
that's
the crest.
You're right. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, good. So the team heads to Ireland. Now, is it Ireland or are we thinking it's Scotland?
Well, Moira's Scottish, right? Like,
that's so weird.
Yeah, and like the crest thing, and just all
no, it does make sense. So let's call it
Muir is a Scottish name. Yeah,
the team heads to Scotland, and they storm the Cassidy Keep, clashing with Eric, Black Tom, and the Juggernaut. Lilandra breaks free amid the chaos, driving the fight up onto the rooftop of the castle. As the battle intensifies, this is one of my favorite. Like, I remember this episode so clearly from my childhood. The Gladiator arriving.
Gladiator's arrival is fucking awesome. Like, we first seen him,
sick.
Like, fists first, flying at the earth, and then flying over things and getting closer and closer. They really hype it up really well.
It's a fantastic introduction.
And like the episode quality jumps so much just because this is Gladiator's first introduction, and it is awesome. Like. Yeah. I have trouble with this episode because like you guys were saying, like, oh man, why are we taking so long? This one's even dragging it out further. Like, why the fuck are we taking so long to get to where we're going? But then Gladiator comes in and it is iconic. Like the battle where Gladiator comes in and just fucks everyone up is one of the coolest battle scenes in the series. Yeah. It's just awesome. Literally
takes a shot right to the gut from Juggernaut, doesn't even move, and then he just throws him probably to Ireland, I guess. That's not where we are. He sends them to Ireland with a single throw, which I feel like maybe the point of this episode to me was like showing, because it's like a power scaling thing. Like they show Juggernaut being strong, and like he fucks up Eric the Red, who was the villain in the last episode, and then the Juggernaut is one-shotted away by a Gladiator, and then as we see in the end of this episode, the Phoenix is going to arrive and toss Gladiator like through the next galaxy. So it's sort of like a showing where her power level is at, I guess, like showing how powerful she really is, using like a relatable villain that we've seen before. And like,
like we see this guy beat everybody up, and then suddenly she can beat him up. It's good. It's good scale stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if they needed.
This is good writing. I think that like maybe the whole reason they included the Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy elements of the comic books, because this is all directly from the comic books originally, is because just like that Gladiator coming in and beating up these guys would just really resonated with these creators too.
Yeah, it's like action heavy for sure. Like this would be, I don't know. I could see this being a very cool issue of a comic book for sure, and it's good for an episode of TV, I guess. For a kid, I guess maybe it's a little less engaging for us as adults.
I mean, not a good enough episode apparently that you could end the sentence on this recap.
Yes, the X-Men reel at the display of power, but then the Phoenix descends on the castle, hurls Gladiator back into space. Moments later, Emperor Deken's warship appears from above the keep, signaling a far greater conflict too. Oh, and yes, you're right. I did not finish.
You left out the come.
You
forgot to come. Mike.
I know.
This tantric writing?
Sorry, it happens when you're typing with one hand sometimes. I feel like each episode is sort of lifted up by one moment that's like really good. And as much as like I enjoy, like if I was rating this whole thing, I would like give it a really high score. But like this individual episode You wouldn't watch it without watching the other ones, but I'd say this is like a 6 again, like a 7, which seems weird.
Yeah, I think a 6 is the same for me. I also like it's a really uneven episode. I think the first half kind of blows, and then the second half is fucking awesome.
Yeah. I think maybe by the end, if we rate all 5 episodes together, like my score will be really great.
Yeah, that's
Not to
true.
like give
But
it
you
away,
gotta,
but like
yeah, I like to know about the individual and the biggers. Like
for
take
sure.
for example the Daniel Craig James Bond one. Like that's a
Mhm.
series where I would individually say that Casino Royale and Spectre are like nines. They're really good movies, but I would give
Yeah.
that overall 5 movie series a 4, maybe a 3 out of 10 because
Interesting.
I hate it as an overall series, even though there's great individual chapters. This is kind of like there's weak individual chapters, but it adds up to something really cool. So I get where you're coming from. It's like the opposite of that.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So we can just discuss how we feel about both things. At the end of part 2, we can just rate the whole 5-parter. And maybe
Yep.
we can do that with multi-part episodes going forward. We can have the individual and
Yeah.
the two-part
That's
story.
probably a
Obviously
great
like
idea.
Time Fugitives overall, and even though I had problems with each individual episode, I'd say overall it's a 2-part. It's like a 9.
Exactly. I find that maybe that's the case with a lot of their multi-part episodes. Is like there's like a goal for each episode where if you didn't do that, the whole thing wouldn't work. But like when you're just watching that one episode, you're like, like you know. But one episode doing everything would have been overstuffed. So it's a really tricky situation.
I feel like we could have got to this point in 2 episodes though. Like the first
Yeah.
episode could have ended with Jean coming out of the bay and saying declaring she's the Phoenix. So that's about, the first 3 quarters. And then you could have cut out I hate to say it, but you could have cut out the Xavier going evil thing and just
Yeah.
gone straight to the gladiator coming for her as soon as she wakes
Mhm.
up. Like that could have just I guess there needed to be an adventure that shows the Phoenix winning. So maybe that's the whole point is that they need to show the Phoenix winning.
Yeah.
But maybe this could have started with the glad. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know what changes you make.
put out evil Xavier and then have maybe Eric the Red send bounty hunters after her in her hospital, and she wakes up in the hospital and beats them up.
Yeah, that could work too, for
I
sure.
think if I was to do a movie version of this, I would cut
Like,
out the
why
Muir
not?
Island stuff to get
Why
there.
wouldn't they should have just had Charles send Gene to Muir Island because that's like his person he trusts the
Oh,
most, you know? So they could have even had it set in the same place and the same thing happens, except it happens to Gene instead of Charles.
100%. That's the best way to go. You are
Yeah.
correct, sir.
And they just
I like it.
have Charles get
And
the shit
just
beat out of
replace
him.
Black Tom with somebody else to be Juggernaut's buddy, though, because like Banshee doesn't matter to this
Toad.
story. Banshee and Black Tom don't need to be in this. Yeah, sure.
Make it
I don't
Toad.
know. No, not Toad. Toad sucks. But there's plenty of great characters that it could be. Fucking make it
Hairbag.
Deadpool. Have it be
There you go. Yeah,
Deadpool in the movie.
make it Deadpool. Yeah,
Yes.
that'd be great. Yeah. All
And
right.
have it be
Well,
on the other side of the conflict. And that'd be the first time he met the X-Men. I don't know. Plenty of things you can do.
Just get Bishop back. Why not?
Yeah. What do you rate that episode there, Ben?
6, 7.
Okay. Or I'm sorry I asked.